This is a brief video about our experience taking the Bay Island Reef Restoration certification. It starts out in the classroom where you learn about the coral, some of the stressors, how to build the coral trees and to clean them, how to tag the coral fragments, and then how to place them on the reef so that you can start the reef growth and health. So here we have the coral nursery where this has been going on for a couple of years, and we got to clean the coral trees. You can see there's a lot of algae that grows on them, so they have to be kept clean so they don't infect the coral. It takes a little bit to get used to your buoyancy, but no problem cleaning off the coral. Here's some elkhorn coral that we were working with. Each of the trees is tagged so they know which one, and you can see how much algae is coming off as we're going through all of the various trees. But they feel good when they're clean after you're done, and you can see how healthy the coral is that's being grown in the nurseries here. So after this point, then we're ready to start on our next portion, which is taking some fragments off of the trees that are big enough. Here's Trip trying to show us how to take the right size cuts on the coral, and we got to experience this ourselves. It's harder than it looks. The coral's pretty strong, but we're able to get some nice size fragments here that we'll use for planting on the reef. These are live corals, so we get them on the boat and put them in the water so that they don't get too hot in the sun. And then we start doing the process of preparing the coral fragments so that they can be replanted on some of the other trees to grow. So here we're learning how to make sure that we're pulling the filaments tight enough so that algae doesn't grow under and infect the coral. So you have to pull pretty tight, and we're working pretty fast because you don't want the coral to dry out. And then they get tagged so we know which pieces are coming from which tree so they can keep track of it. Then we get back to the fun stuff, another dive to plant the coral on the reef. You take the hammer and you're actually just scraping the algae away off of the rock so that the marine epoxy will hold the coral in place. So you take small balls of this marine epoxy and you attach it to the corals, and it's a little harder than it looks in the current, but you get the hang of it, and then you have to push the coral down so that it adheres in about an hour, and you wave to make sure that it's in place so the current won't take it off. So this is a great experience. Encourage anybody who wants to take part in growing the reef, and get in touch with the Bay Island Reef Restoration Group, and you can get in touch with Trip. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.